You're watching Startup Central with me, Nantara Rai. Our next guest is a startup founder. The startup hasn't even been around for 3 years. It's 2.5 years old. It's already a unicorn. It has a valuation of $945 million. That's right, $945 million valuation in less than 3 years. But this is a startup that dreams big. It signed on Virat Kohli as a brand ambassador in the 3rd month. It was barely 2 years old when it decided to sponsor not one, but 2 IPL teams. I guess all of that has paid off, and I'm going to be talking to the co-founder of this startup. The startup is the online gaming platform startup, MPL, and Sai Srinivas, the co-founder, live with us here on Startup Central. Sai, congratulations. You raised $95 million. That's the announcement that's come in today. You raised $90 million just 5 months ago. So that's, crazy amount of money that you've raised in 5 months. What's going on?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me on your show. Really, feels good to be back. I think the reason why that's a good question to ask, right? 5 months, 2 raises. I think what's changing and what's happening is people are really realizing the potential of the market for esports and competitive gaming in India and as well as the world, right? And the market is it's just every consumer with a mobile phone in his hand can potentially be a user for this market, right? And the last time around when we were raising capital, people were still just getting to understand how big this market can be, right? And now people have actually understood that. And if you look at the clutch of investors that we've gotten on board this time, these are folks who are from all over the world, right? We've got multiple different investors from the US. We've got folks from Europe, and that's just testament to a fact that the product that we're building, or the problem that we've been lucky enough to find, is a problem that has application literally in all parts of the world. And it's because of that market size, and it's because of the potential that market has, is the reason why we've actually raised this kind of capital. It's because we believe that the product that we have can actually be taken to multiple parts of the world, and that's also to be seen with the success that we've had in Indonesia, right? Like we went to Indonesia pretty early, right? And now we've got about 3.5 million users in Indonesia, and we're doing pretty well there. And that's given us a lot of confidence, and in fact also given a lot of our investors and the folks who come on board a lot of confidence that we can actually become a global product out of India.
What's also, I think we must talk about is the fact that because of the rules on the Android Play Store, and let's not forget Google's Android has more than a 97% market share, MPL cannot be on the Play Store. And yet you've got crazy numbers that you're talking about. How have you smashed it out of the park without being on the Play Store?
Right. Firstly, that's a very good question. The way I look at it is, and in fact, I remember you asking me this question the last time, right? And I think my answer still stays the same. Is I think Play Store is just a means to an end, right? If there is a market and if there is a problem, the customers are going to find the solution irrespective of Play Store or no Play Store, right? And the way I look at it is that the market's so large, and the number of customers who want to compete in games is so many in India and in fact in the rest of the world. And a lot of these users are very, very comfortable just coming to the website and downloading the app and installing the app. And that just goes to show the sheer amount of potential that the market has. And as far as the Play Store is concerned, I think it's not being there on the Play Store it's more like a speed breaker, I think, than a wall, to be honest. We treat it as a speed breaker. And in the last 2 years, if anything, the number of users that we've grown, the number of different game developers that have come on board, and the number of different Indian game developers that we are working with is just a testament to that fact.
But I've got to ask you this one question, which is that very recently Google did allow real money gaming in 15 countries. India is not one of them. So you're saying it's a speed breaker. what would it mean if you would be on the Android Play Store? And it is looking at allowing that. It's done it in 15 countries.
See, I think, I mean, it would be foolish of me to say that, it wouldn't be great to be on the Play Store. Of course, it would be great to be on the Play Store, right? I mean, it would just expand the market so much more significantly. And I believe that the fact that they've opened it in 15 more countries is a great step. I soon hope that, with the rest of the industry, we work together and figure out a path forward with Google. And the fact that they've already done it in 15 other countries is actually really, I mean, it's really pleasing, and it's also a very welcome fact. And hopefully sooner rather than later we get to see Play Store hopefully opening up in this part of the world as well.
MPL, what have you raised this $95 million for? What's the game plan?
I think the game plan for us is quite simple, right? The way we look at it now is that in India, you will see us host a significant amount of large-scale esport tournaments. So, for example, between the time we spoke last time and now, we hosted this tournament called College Premier League, right? And this was basically an inter-college esport championship. We had about 110 colleges, and in fact, I think it's more than 110 colleges, and we had 14,000 folks from these colleges compete in 4 different games online. And this was an esport tournament. There were 4 games. There was pool, there was chess, there was Rogue East, and there was WCC cricket, right? And the interesting part is all of these games are actually in India, right? And the finals of that tournament was broadcasted live, and about 1 million plus people tuned in to watch it, right? From our point of view, in this year, a significant part of this proceeds is basically going to enable us to host multiple large-scale tournaments like this. And the bigger these tournaments get, the more people would want to tune into them and more people would want to watch them. And it is only fair that people who are exceptionally good at digital games, be it a game like Rogue East, be it a game like WCC cricket, be it a game like chess, they get their spotlight. Right, and as an esports platform and as a mobile esports platform, our focus is to enable that. Apart from that, we are also going to use a significant part of this fund to expand overseas, right? And that is something we were planning to do even the last time, and hopefully in the course of the next 3 to 4 months, we would hopefully be able to make some more announcements in that regard. Also, alongside all of this, we've already announced a $5 million developer fund, a fund that's aimed at enabling Indian developers and Indian game developers to make games and publish it not only on MPL, but hopefully on multiple different platforms. And the goal with this is to enable the gaming ecosystem in India to produce world-class content. And for a significant amount of time, it's been said that, hey, you know what, we don't have the capability, we don't have the talent to make world-class games, but that's changed. I think we have all the capability in the world. Now, with capital, we will be able to seriously produce world-class games, and hopefully a year and a half down the line, we will probably have AAA level game titles come out of this country.
So, you raised $90 million 5 months ago, right? Here's another $95 million. In between all of that, you've also had IPL, you've had cricket season, all of that. Can I ask you one question? Before IPL and today, what kind of growth have you seen? Did it pay off to sponsor those 2 cricket teams?
Of course it did pay off, right? Like, it paid off in a big way, and that is the reason why we went ahead and also that is the reason why we went ahead and also became the merchandising partner with the Indian cricket team, right? And in terms of metrics, we actually saw a 100% increase in terms of app installs, right? So that's more to do with a pure play metric, but with respect to sheer increase in our brand coverage, sheer increase in the amount of people who search for us, I mean, we've seen incredible growth, and that's precisely the reason why we doubled down and said, hey, you know what, we also want to be merchandising partners for the Indian cricket team. And also, the way we look at it is people always think that this is only to do with the physical world, but some of this merchandising partnerships, etc., also have a significant part to play in the digital world, right? You can always sell digital merchandise. That's something you'll see us do in the course of the next 1 year as well.
What do you mean by digital merchandise?
Well, an in-app purchase, right? You can always sell an in-app sticker or an in-app icon, in-app gifts. These are things which are very, very prevalent in the Western markets. These are things that are slowly starting to take off in the Indian ecosystem. So, for example, just to give you an example, let's assume the same college Premier League final is happening, and there are two players playing the final of the chess tournament, and one player plays really, really well. Then that player should get a really nice, cricket sticker as a gift from the viewers who are watching it, and that is a different level of engagement, right? And that kind of engagement is only possible with digital sport, and that is exactly the kind of experiences that we hope to enable in the course of the next 1 year.
You can also make Virat Kohli emojis, and if you do that, please pay me royalty. But jokes aside, we've got you here. Tell us on MPL at the moment, what are the more popular games?
I think the most popular game continues to be pool. The other games that are very, very popular are archery. We recently also launched a new version of Caroms. So Caroms is doing very, very well. Cricket games, as you know, in India always tend to do well. So I'm not going to talk about that. But these are the games which are doing very, very well. These are also evergreen games. They have such depth in audience.
So I'm going to ask you one question. You've raised this fundraise gives you a valuation of $945 million. You weren't tempted for maybe raising more or becoming a unicorn, or is that something you just don't look at?
I think I honestly am not too bothered about unicorns, right? Like our brand ambassador says, right? Milestones take care of themselves, right? We also honestly believe in that, and also to be honest, right? Every additional million we raise comes at dilution, comes at a cost of dilution, and that means we are also eroding value for our employees primarily and our other shareholders, right? So there are multiple round figures that could have happened, right? Like why only 95? It could have been 100, right? So we just felt that this is the right number that we needed, and this is what enabled us to raise that. And also, we are very, very focused on the value we create for employees, right? And that shows in a big way, because recently we also announced the fact that our employees actually invested $500,000 in the company, and there was honestly a wonderful moment for us, right? Because employees going ahead and investing in the company means a very big deal. So it's probably one of the reasons why we said, hey, you know what, we've got enough, and hopefully some other day we'll be able to get to that milestone.
Kya baat hai yaar? You're sending, fielding questions by throwing in Virat Kohli, your brand ambassador's name. But Sai, before I let you go, as a woman, I want to ask you: are you seeing more females coming on for gaming? Are you seeing an increased participation by women? We have been reading some reports that did happen during the pandemic.
I think right now, I think we've got about 20-25% of the platform are female gamers. And we also in the future want to host tournaments and specific large-scale tournaments which are focused primarily on women participation. And I think that latent demand in the market is there. It's just that we need to educate, and we need to enable special tournaments. We need to create these really good tournaments where women come and women participate, and we make them heroes, right? And that's the goal, right? And in fact, in CPL itself, I think the percentage of women who participated in College Premier League was close to about 40%, right? So I think year on year, this number is only going to keep getting better and better. And as we create more women esport athletes and we make heroes out of them, I'm reasonably certain more women are going to show up.
Okay. That's a conversation I would love to have with you again in the near future. But Sai, thanks so much for joining us on this edition of Startup Central. Congratulations. You're clearly growing really rapidly, and the investors are putting their money literally where your mouth is. So thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll be back. We hope to get you back on the show sooner than later. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break. On the other side, we're going to be joined by Sameer Nigam of PhonePe. PhonePe has announced a $200 million ESOP program for all employees, whether they're in sales or customer experience. It's taking a lead on that in the startup universe. PhonePe co-founder coming up after this break.